Hello people, you're welcome back once again on my channel. So in this video I'll be teaching you guys how to make this beautiful structural sleeve. Okay guys, can see how beautiful it is. It's a very simple tutorial guys. You're highly welcome back once again. If you're already a subscriber, you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, you're also welcome. To all the passers-by, you're welcome as well. Okay, so you can see, without wasting much of our time, let's dive into the tutorial. Okay, so now this is the material or the fabric I'll be working on. These are my tools. I have this sewable boning. I have my interfacing, my crinoline. Okay, so and this is my fabric. This is an Ankara fabric. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is to fold our fabric into two. Okay, we'll be making a basic sleeve. From that basic sleeve, we'll go ahead and transform it to the sleeve, the structural sleeve. Okay, so first of all, you're going to determine the length of your sleeve. So I used about 16 inches. Okay, for the width, I used about 14 to 15 inches. Okay, you can if you want to get your width, you can measure your armhole. Okay, you can go around and measure your armhole and add extra an inch, so that will determine the width. Okay, so now the length, I used about 16 to 17 inches, folding or sewing allowance inclusive. So this length actually is for the down part. I don't know, like the armhole area. So because you will still go ahead and reduce the upper part, so you mark out your measurement. So you choose. So I use about 16 inches to 7 inches. Okay, so you make a straight line. So here you can decide to go up again by some inches. So from that point I'll go ahead and mark out my cap height. So I use 4 inches for the cap height. Okay, so this, after marking my cap height, you go ahead and make a straight line. So I'm trying to mark the basic sleeve, so I'll go ahead and mark the straight line and I'll mark the midpoint. From there you connect like an S shape. You can see how I've curved the sleeve. So you are good to go like this, or you can decide to go up by some inch if you want extra gathers, depending on how standing you want your gathers to be. Okay, so you can choose to use this, or you just use the normal sleeve length you added. So from there, now I'll come down by 9 inches. You can come down by 9 to 10. Okay, so after that, then you go ahead and connect it. You can see the way I'm trying to connect it into that length. I don't know if you guys understood. So from here, from the length, you connect into the armhole area, into the side. You can see. So I'm trying to show you where it stopped, because this fabric is somehow they look, you can't even differentiate it. So you can see the way I've marked it. So from the center part, from the upper part, you will come down by 9 inches or 10 inches. Then you connect it like this into the armhole area or the side. So you can see how I've curved it out. So the next thing is to cut it out like so. Then you can, like I said, you can choose to cut to add extra inches upward, but later on I eliminated that part. I think what I have so far was okay. So the 2 inches I went off for my extra buff, I later on eliminated it. Okay, so this is what I have. So guys can see how it is forming already. So the next thing is to cut out. I've cut out the other part, then I've cut out my lining piece. So on my lining piece, I ironed an interfacing. Okay, I use a fabric stay. I use the fabric stay. So this is the second sleeve. So this is what I have here for both sleeve. So I cut out the lining. You can see the line on the lining. I ironed fabric stay on it. Okay, you can use the thickest one. So this is my crinoline, and this is my crinoline. We are going to be sewing crinoline and the facing to it. So you can see here I'm trying to use some fabric here to cover the edge of my crinoline. So like so, I'll go and sew it to secure this part. So that is why I cut out this. I'm going to be securing that edge. So now on this part, you can see where how I try to place it. I left some allowance like 1 inch allowance from the side. Then I'll go ahead and sew it all around from the down part of the sleeve, not the length, not the sleeve, the upper part, the down part. So you can see here, after sewing my crinoline like so, you sew it normal. First of all, you cover it. So let me pin it up so that you guys will understand. You go ahead and cover the raw edge. So you have to, if you don't cover it, normally it will poke the fabric and give discomfort. So you can see like 1 inch. I'll start. I place my crinoline there. Then I'll go ahead and sew it all around to the other side. When I get to the other side, I'll stop 1 inch before the sewing. Then I'll also use my fabric to cover or secure their edge. So here now I'll mark half inch. You can see I'm trying to mark half inch where my sewable boning is going to start. So this is how I'm going to sew it. You can see you can see the half inch I left half inch before I will attach my sewable boning. Okay, so now guys, I'm done with the sewing. So this is how it looks like. You can see I left half inches. So all these things I did them on the lining piece. So the next thing now is to place our fabric into two. So I'm trying to place the main fabric on the lining, right side facing right side. But first of all, I want to get the midpoint of this lining piece. So this is what I have here. So the next thing is to place the main fabric on the lining, right side facing right side. Okay, so we'll go ahead and sew the down part with the half inch rather one left. So with the half inch one left, that's what we will use to sew it. Okay, so we're going to sew it like this. So the way I'm pinning it is the way I'll sew it. I'll use the half inch I left before sewing the boning. So I'll use that half inch to turn the sleeve. Okay, so now after that, the next thing, so you can see now this is what it will look like after sewing it. So you can see this is how it's going to look. So I'll do the same thing. Okay, here you can see I'm already done turning the other sleeve. So this is the outcome. So this is how it looks after sewing. So this part you can decide to come down again if you find out that your puff or your gathers is not enough on the upper part. You can decide to trim down your armhole to get enough puff. So for us to close this side, I'll go ahead and you can see the way I'm trying to hold it. I'm going to hold it this way, then I'll pin it. For it to have this beautiful and neat finish, you can see I folded it into two. I'm sewing right side facing right side from the main fabric towards the lining piece. So this is how you're going to sew it for you to have a very neat finishing. Okay, so now I'm done. So this is how it looks, guys. You can see it's a very simple tutorial. You can see I've gathered it. So if you find out your gathering is not enough, or your armhole is not up, you can decide to reduce it, because later on I reduce the armhole. So the more you reduce it, the more it will form out. So this is my bead. I'm going to embellish this sleeve with my crystal beads. Okay, I'll be embellishing it with a crystal bead. So this is my bead. You can decide to embellish yours however you want it, or you can just leave it like that. Depends on your preference or what you want. So these are my crystal beads. I'll be using it to embellish this part. Okay, so guys, you can see it's very simple tutorial, very simple. So this sleeve, you can see, like I said, I later went ahead to reduce the armhole area. Okay, so this is it. Very simple tutorial. It's very simple. Thank you so much guys for joining me on this video. Please kindly give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, like and share. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so this is it. I'll go ahead. I went ahead to reduce the armhole side. You can see the way I held it. That's how I reduced it. Okay, so it's very simple. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.